Hello, everybody, and welcome to On the Couch with Chris. I'm your host, Chris, and I'd like to thank you for joining us today. This is being distributed through our group, Mind, Body, and Soul. We're here to heal. We're here to just spread knowledge of how to heal your journey moving forward. And as you guys can see today, I am on a different couch. I am at Sullivan Acupuncture in Gurnee, Illinois, and I'm sitting here with Heather, and I just got done with the treatment. I'm telling you, I'm feeling great. And one of the reasons I asked Heather to be on the show is because her willingness to want to help others and to look into how you can do that. This is my fourth treatment, and I'll tell you, each one has been, we've kind of tweaked some things around, and the third one, last time I was here, I felt great afterwards. So I asked Heather if she would be willing to do this video and to share some of her background and knowledge on how acupuncture could help you along your healing journey. So Heather, thank you so much for just willing to do this and willing to help others. It really means a lot. So we just got done with mine, and we'll kind of go over what we do and all that. But before we even get into that, I just want to know what got you interested in doing acupuncture.
I always kind of was a granola chick, even as a kid. And I went to Madison, so I did the hippie journey there.
Nice.
Got my degree in biology, but didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Sure.
So I entered the corporate field for about 15 years. I was a buyer in a corporate setting where everyone was just at each other's throat.
Yep.
And I felt miserable because my whole job was just to yell at people. Where's my product? Gosh darn it.
Is that why you're always yelling? No,
yeah. And I felt awful, and I realized that my soul was a soul of a caring person. I wanted to be a caregiver. I wanted to have people say I inspired them in their lives, as opposed to making them feel miserable for the day.
Yep.
So I went back into biology, and I always loved Asian history. I was into yoga, I was into Tai Chi, and it just kind of drew me in. And then ever since then, I've just been going down this road helping people and feeling really good.
That's awesome. And there's nothing like helping other people. And that's the whole purpose of this group, is just to help, right? And so how does acupuncture actually, so someone suffering from a toxicity like myself, or fibromyalgia, or just any chronic pain, how does acupuncture, how does it actually work?
Yeah, so it actually works on several different levels. Just to give you a little background, it's about 5,000 years old.
Okay.
It kind of came out of the shamanic path of past of China. When China became a civilization 3,000 years ago, the first emperor wanted to live forever and believed in the elixir of life.
Nice.
And so he had tasked his royal physicians to find out how to do that. And they went three routes. They went Chinese herbal medicine, which out of any culture in the world, they've got herbal therapy down to an art. So much so that modern medicine is now looking back on those herbs and treating anything from SARS to malaria to other disorders. Even heart conditions are using ancient herbs right now.
Okay.
The second path was just basic preventative medicine, and because they believed in Confucius, and Confucius said in order to live long you needed to eat right and diet and exercise. That's why that culture lasts the longest.
Yep.
Even Japan has so many people living past 100 years old because they know the right way to eat and exercise.
Which is kind of just starting to make its way to America, really. I mean,
Yes.
we are starting to really focus on eating better and what the gut does and the mind does, instead of just treating, which we were just kind of talking about this, instead of just treating your hand hurts, it's you're treating your whole body, and I feel like that's really helps with acupuncture.
Exactly. And they have only to look towards China for those types of tips. And then the third path was acupuncture. So what they did was they realized, whereas modern medicine zeroes down on the organ, let's specialize in the heart, let's specialize in the lung.
Sure.
The Chinese took the opposite direction. They looked at the forest through the trees, and they dissected the body and said 3 systems run through the body: the nervous system, the cardiovascular system, and the muscle sinew system, which is the connective tissue that runs through all the muscles.
Okay.
And then they said, where all of these come in big bundles, if we stimulate a needle near it and create like a biochemical change in that little bundle, we could create a change in the entire body and how it talks to each other. So they just did 3,000 years of trial and error and passing that
Sure.
knowledge on. And now what modern medicine is finding is when they do MRIs and let's say they elicit a pain in the body, they can see those pain pathways light up in the brain. And then if they take an acupuncture point and stimulate it, they can see those pain pathways dim.
Okay.
And what they're theorizing is that somehow, some way in this electrical circuitry in our body, the acupuncturists are blocking off the pain signals in the spinal cord and in the brain.
And what's interesting about that is kind of what you're describing is like a central sensitization of the brain. So when if you're suffering from chronic pain, your brain's actually lighting up in multiple spots that a normal person's brain is not.
Yes.
So you're actually able to calm those spots down in the brain by using acupuncture, as you said then.
Yes.
Correct? Wow, that's awesome. That's good to hear. So does each person have a different, someone suffering from, let's say it's anxiety or depression, do they have a different treatment than someone suffering from fibromyalgia, let's say?
Yes, exactly. And not only that, but if I had 3 fibro patients, I might treat them differently anyways.
Okay.
Because one might present with a different symptoms and pathways
Sure.
than the other one. So it's very individualized, which makes it a little bit hard for us to prove to modern medicine that it's working because research studies put people in boxes.
Yep.
And acupuncture doesn't. So if we're doing, let's say, how acupuncture helps with digestion, and they take a study of 20 people, well, we would treat all 20 of those people differently.
Sure.
But they want just everything boxed-like, and so then it proves that acupuncture doesn't work because it didn't work for all 20 people.
Yeah. So what could people come to see you for? What symptoms, what different
Type of things?
Yeah, type of things would they come in and actually benefit from acupuncture from?
Well, there's a list of about 40 symptoms that it treats. The ones that people really know about are pain, any kind of joint pain, any kind of pain at all.
Sure.
The other thing that people come to see me for is fertility or
Okay.
reproductive issues.
Oh, wow, nice.
Especially if women aren't trying to get pregnant, but they have any kind of reproductive issue like endometriosis or fibroids or things like that.
Okay.
I treat that a lot. The third thing that people come and see me for is stress, anxiety, and depression. Now,
which we see more and more of.
so much more of,
Yep.
especially in this day and age. The things that people are less likely to know that I can treat are anything ranging from heart pain or cardiovascular issues to respiratory issues to digestive issues to
Wow.
kidney function problems. So it's almost like you name it, we can treat it as long as it's not like cancer,
Sure.
or
Yeah.
something severe.
Yeah, exactly. And how about, I know, a lot of people think acupuncture, needles, pain.
Yeah.
Even with me, I'm in chronic pain and it's you explained it better than I would, but when you were putting the needles in, you saw how inflamed I was somehow.
Yes.
So 2 questions. How do you tell if someone, is suffering with chronic pain? Like if you could describe the needling.
Uh-huh.
And for those of people that want to try acupuncture but are like, I don't like
Yeah.
needles,
Yeah.
like my brother who's recording, what would you say to those people? Because like today you said you used the Japanese needle on me.
Mhm.
What could you say to those people to kind of calm that anxiety so that they'll actually come in and get acupuncture done?
Sure. The first thing is when we break the skin with the needle, we're invoking the immune response because, anytime you break the skin barrier, even if you cut yourself, your body thinks that bacteria or something bad is coming in,
Mhm.
so it brings fresh blood flow to that area. We're actually using that response to help the body heal itself by invoking the immune response.
Sure.
So one of the things the body does is it creates a histamine reaction, which is a reddening of the skin around that particular broken skin.
Okay.
If you are already inflamed, you already have a lot of histamine, a lot of inflammation in your body, and I break the skin in that area that's got a lot of inflammation, the area around the needle becomes very red. And that tells me that we are, in essence, venting that inflammation. We are telling the body there's inflammation here. You need to start cleaning it up. So after so many treatments, that area that was really red, you won't find redness anymore because the inflammation is gone.
Wow.
So that's really good.
Yeah.
And now the biggest thing is alleviating fear of needles. just to give you an idea of the needles, thank God for modern technology. My needles are as thin as our hair. So in a regular hypodermic needle where you just do a shot, that people are scared of, naturally it's going to hurt because it's a huge surface of that needle. I can fit 21 of my needles in a regular shot that you get at a doctor. Wow. And because of that, when I break the skin with this tiny, tiny needle, the body never registers the pain. In fact, most of the time I put them in, people are like, I didn't feel anything. So that is the way to get over it, is just to say, just try it once. And I have people coming through my door that are hyperventilating, and they're not sure they even want to be there. So I end up saying, let me just do one needle. You know, I won't charge you. You can go if you're like, holy cow.
And, you know, I can say this is Heather started very lightly with me. And it was, I was scared. You know, we touched close to the spine and you know, I had fears, and now I'm benefiting from what we're doing. So I think it's just giving it that try, you know?
Yes.
So, and how does the ear work? I've always wondered that. Like, what is the needles in the ear? How does that extend through the body?
You know, if you ever look at, for anyone who's an embryonic biologist, they will tell you that the ear is a very funny organ when the body is growing. It actually contains all the layers of the body, both the inside organs, the middle, and then the outer organs, dermatomes. And not only that, but it grows out of the body. It actually has a connection to the kidney, go figure.
Wow.
The Chinese realized the body, the ears are like a microcosm of the body. It looks like an upside down baby. And so you take certain points on the ear and you can create, much like reflexology, you know, their own, you know, system. In fact, a lot of the Army uses only the ear because a lot of these soldiers have blown off arms, legs, things that we'd normally put needles into, and we no longer can.
Wow.
So they only use the ear, and boom, it works.
Wow. And, you know, we were discussing, a lot of people in our group have what's called fluoroquinolone toxicity. It's a reaction, a poisoning to an antibiotic. And you were just discussing with me about some Chinese herbs and kind of a little bit about a background on how possibly Chinese herbs could help get rid of some of these toxins or just help with ease some of the pain. Could you describe a little bit about what you were saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the herbs that are used in Chinese medicine, the reason why they work is they have blood thinning and anti-inflammatory properties, which is basically what modern medicine does. I mean, if you take ibuprofen or aspirin, they all have those same properties. The biggest thing about NSAIDs, there is a study that came out a few years ago, and they haven't yet to recreate this study, so they don't know it for sure, so I'll put that as an addendum. There is a part of it, you can take it for short term, but long term it actually stops the healing process. So you want to use something natural like Chinese herbs, which is anti-inflammatory and still heals the body and is blood thinning. They still don't know exactly everything about these herbs, except that the Chinese have been able to treat modern ailments with them, whereas modern medicine hasn't. So it's kind of like going back to our ancient wisdom.
100%. And using ibuprofen and things like that, you'll get, if you're using them for headaches, you can get rebound headaches, you know, things like that. It shuts off those pain channels, but when those pain channels open back up, it's the underlying problem is still there, you know. So I think looking more into Chinese herbs could really help many people. So and then let's just discuss what you did today with me and how maybe it can relate. You know, we had needles going down my spine today. We had in my optic nerves, and a couple in my legs. Could you just explain what the goal, because like I said, there's people that suffering from, you know, fibromyalgia or cyprotoxicity, watching this, how does that, and I know you kind of touched on this, but how does that, how would that help me in the long run or in the short term? How does that relieve some of the pain?
So two things. It works naturally first by blocking off the pain channels, as we talked. And it also dumps endorphins into the body, because every single time you break the skin, the body thinks there's pain, and to offset that pain, it will dump endorphins into the body. those hormones will actually circulate around the body 72 hours to 5 days.
Okay.
And so for the 3 to 5 days, you're feeling no pain, which is great. Now, the root is not treated, so it will come back. But long term, what we're doing is treating the root. And so let's take chronic pain. Our bodies have formed a bad pathway where it feels chronic pain, and it keeps going that neural
cycle,
pathways.
that pain cycle of it. Yep.
Yeah, and I want to change that through neuroplasticity, where I recreate new pathways that are not going in the bad pathway, much like you would train a dog not to potty or something on the floor. You just keep saying bad body.
She had to tell me that a few times when I walked in.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go in this bad direction, body. Go in the other nicer, happier direction. And by doing that and healing both the root and training the mind not to feel pain, eventually, either we get it down to a nominal level, or we can, complete it, heal it all together.
And not only do you just do acupuncture here, and I want to make this perfectly clear, authenticity is everything to me in this group. So as you guys know, I am not selling anything. I'm not promoting any one doctor, or even Heather here. She is just willing to come on and just spread this. But what I love about being here is not only do you do acupuncture, you also put CBD cream oil or CBD cream, and you do like a 10-minute massage, and you have heat lamps, and it's like and we did cupping today as well. So we did cupping. So you really offer a wide variety of healing aspects. So can you explain just how CBD oil, massage, and cupping kind of help the healing process?
Yeah, so when I trained in China, they actually had like massage wards and cupping wards and acupuncture wards and moxa and all different kinds of things, because acupuncture wasn't just one thing. It came over here as one thing, but a true Chinese medical doctor, if you were to see one, would incorporate all of whatever they could possibly incorporate into a treatment. So for you, cupping seemed like the right thing to do, followed by a little massage and some electrical stimulation on the needles.
Yeah, it's another thing that you did,
Yeah, so I'm one of those people that throws everything against the wall.
Yep.
I have patients that come in that want me to do one thing because they want to see if it works. I'm one of those people that says, screw that. I want you out of pain, so as soon as you walk in the door, I want you to walk out pain-free. And I will take even, if acupuncture is not the right thing, sometimes I go for energy work.
Yeah. And that was big when the very first time I came in here, you told me, let's try 4 or 5 sessions. If it doesn't work, I don't want to waste your time or money. And that's big. I think that goes a long way with people, because some doctors, they'll put you through that cycle. Oh, come back 20 times and keep trying. So I love that. And how can people find you? Where I know you're moving into a new building, so if you want, the floor is yours to promote yourself and your awesome business that you got. So
wonderful. So I'm located in Gurnee by Six Flags employee entrance, in some medical buildings around here. I am growing my business to include a receptionist. I have a virtual receptionist right now. I'm actually going just right next door into this other office where we'll have more treatment rooms because the practice is booming so much. I've been in business for 10 years. I have the highest level of education. I have a doctorate level. And I have advanced training in fertility and pain management from a bunch of really renowned acupuncturists. To become an acupuncturist, you have to go through 3 to 4 year training to be a master's. You have to spend $100,000 in student loans, which unfortunately I'm going to pay off until I die. And if you want to go ahead of that, which I did, you spend another $20,000 to $50,000 on training to be a doctorate in it. And that took another 1.5 years. So I have about 6 years of education.
So there's just a little separation between you and the chiropractic office down the street that's putting a few needles in people.
Yes, and that's the biggest thing I want to get out. Dry needling is just about 80 hours of training, which is acupuncture in the muscle. Chiropractors will have about 100 hours of training. And an acupuncturist will actually will have 2,700 hours, plus they must be licensed and regulated. whereas these other chiropractic, not that there's anything wrong with it,
Sure.
but it's kind of going to your aunt's for spaghetti as opposed to a Michelin chef for spaghetti, you know. So that's pretty much my spiel about whether to come and see me. And also, I love helping people. If I'm not close to people that are watching this, but they really want an acupuncturist that, you know, with the best qualifications, just shoot me an email and just say, do you have someone in Chicago? And I'll find someone for you, because we want to get you out of pain, and I want to promote that Chinese medicine is a great medicine to have in your life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Heather's also going to be joining the group, so if you guys have questions or concerns or want to know how to find her, you know, please ask her on the group, and hope that you guys are resting, healing, and enjoying your day. So thank you very much for watching, and keep healing.